Hi, I'm Duncan Taylor, and I'm back with another exclusive review for the Music Room, this time about a headphone amplifier from the German pro audio company SPL. Now, I recently reviewed SPL's Elector preamplifier. This one's called the Phonitar, and there's a similar buzz around the Phonitar as with the Elector. And the Elector, by the way, if you didn't catch that video, we'll have a link to it at the end. It's one of my favorite pieces of gear in all of HiFi. I think it's an incredible bargain for what it does. But there are a lot of people that really love this Phonitar headphone amplifier, so I wanted to give it a listen. And I needed to find a good pairing of headphones for it. And so I chose this pair from a well-known maker, Audeze. Happens to be my favorite pair of headphones that they make, the LCD-3. And so, you know, in my time with these two, I kind of came to the realization that, well, you know, there's two kinds of experiences often in hi-fi audio. One is initial excitement for a product, kind of wow factor, or just kind of ear-popping zing or something that really captures your excitement. And the second would be something that in the long term gives you a ton of satisfaction and actually promotes long-term listening and you know, listening for hours in the dark and that kind of thing. And maybe months after you've bought the thing, you're still as in love with it as the day that you started listening. I found that the combination of these two, given their own kind of personal characteristics, definitely fell into that latter category. And so I'm excited to talk about it, and that's the gist of where we're going to go with this review, so let's dig in. If you're an audiophile and haven't heard of the German brand Sound Performance Lab, or SPL for short, you're not alone. While they're very well known in the worldwide professional audio scene, they've only recently been crossing over into the hi-fi world with a lineup of gear that includes the amazing Elector preamplifier. Now, being a pro audio company, they've got a lot of experience with both preamplification and monitoring, and the Phonitar kind of bridges both of those disciplines. Some of my favorite headphone amplifiers are integrated into and travel through the circuits of fantastic preamplifiers. One example is my trusty PS Audio BHK Signature preamplifier that's a tube hybrid design. And another one I love is the headphone section of the amazing Integra 4 tube integrated amplifier from the Greek brand Lab 12. Now, SPL actually offers an X version of this headphone amplifier that combines the headphone amplification function with an analog, fully balanced preamplifier like its standalone Elector. This is the XE version, which is basically the same except it doesn't have the preamplifier. Now, both have the option of adding a DAC module to it so that you can have kind of a just add speakers solution there. And you can see in the back that if you don't have the DAC, the option's closed off in the back, but it would be living right there. Now, the DAC module in this case for both products is the well-loved AKM 4490 chip, making these units basically a just add speakers in an amp kind of situation. There is a more stripped down model, the SE, that has the full headphone circuit, offers the optional DAC as well, does not come with a preamplifier, and has more simplified matrix features. Doesn't have the balance control and the option to listen in mono, which are more pro audio features anyway, but contains the same circuitry essentially and the same great volume control that SPL calls the feel of the spoon in the honey, which is really nice. It uses a really high quality Alps Blue potentiometer. Now, a brief word on the matrix feature. In other headphone amplifiers, this is known as the crossfeed, and it basically deals with the presentation that you get when you're listening to headphones and offers the option to listen a little bit more like you hear it with speakers. With headphones, the drivers are angled directly at your ears, you know, and a center image, for example, might be right in front of your face or even feel like it's in the middle of your head. soundstage width extends beyond your ears, but it's not like that speaker presentation where you've got that portrait of sound in front of you and you've got a soundstage that, when well set up, can wrap around like an IMAX movie theater. Now, another kind of pro audio feature of this Phonitar headphone amplifier is the balance control, because it's not just a balance control, which SPL calls laterality, but it gives you the option of listening in stereo, mono, and then having the left and right control. For pro audio engineers, this can be very useful because there's a lot of people in today's day and age that listen to music or mixes on their phone, which might be mixed down to mono, or they're listening on an iPad, which might present in mono, or they're listening on one Bluetooth speaker that doesn't have a DSP stereo feature to it. So it's important, if you're doing a bunch of stereo panning or if you have stereo elements to your mix, to hear how they sound when collapsed down to mono. I find the Phonitar really nails a sophisticated balance between being fleshed out and detailed while being easy to listen to. It's honest and neutral enough for me to trust, and I found myself choosing to listen to the Phonitar over other options I have, just because there's something about it that's relaxing and natural sounding. Now, some people might hate the term musical in an audio review. To me, musical just means that the gear tends to get out of the way and let the music flow and shine. With a great set of headphones, some great music, and excellent cabling, this Phonitar headphone really shows that it's an open window to the best that my music library has to offer. Now, I did want to get into the cabling for a minute. I didn't get a chance as much in the Elector video to talk about this part of it, but with both products, the Elector and the Phonitar, I noticed that they really respond to cable changes. And this makes sense to me. They're both very low distortion circuits. They're not masking anything with their own sound. And they're not adding distortion to the mix. And so it really behooves you, if you're going this path with a really excellent world-class set of headphones and this world-class headphone amplifier, to give it the best footing possible with a really excellent set of cables. All right, let's talk about the LCD-3, why it's my favorite and why it's such a good match with this SPL amp. Now, first of all, I doubt there's an audiophile out there that doesn't know something about Audeze, except perhaps how to exactly pronounce the brand's name. I had to actually ask someone at the company many years ago so I could finally feel confident talking about them. At first, I was inclined to read the name as Audeze, but I soon learned it was Audeze. A good mnemonic for this is remembering that Audeze rhymes with Odyssey. Audeze is a brand with a lot of audiophile history and has lots of models available these days. From the new entry-level Sine headphones to the EL8 models to the ever-expanding LCD range, they've got tons of options for everyone. And the new CRBN, known as the Carbon, which are the brand's first electrostatic headphones, are said to be a contender for the title of best headphones in existence. Now, I haven't heard the CRBN yet, so I won't comment on them, but what I will say is that of all the Audeze models available, the LCD-3 has always been my favorite, with a slight caveat which I'll get into. Years ago, I actually got into the headphones modding scene, working with the Fostex T50RP headphone and planar magnetic driver with many others on the HiFi forum. And one of the things that I learned from that experience was just how hard it is to make a closed back headphone sound like an open back headphone. Now, in practice, most people want a closed back headphone because it means that you don't have to listen in a quiet environment and you don't disturb others with your listening. But in reality, it's just dealing with so much in the closed back design, and things like pressure differences in the back of the cup and the front of the cup, the back wave reflecting through the very thin planar magnetic driver material. And so the best place to start if you're going to be making a reference level set of headphones like the LCD-3 is to choose an open back design. And so that is why I've got the LCD-3 here. The Phonitar does such a great job of casting an incredibly wide soundstage, and so it really behooved me to choose an open back model that had the ability to also present that soundstage. The reason I love the LCD-3 is the balance of glorious mid-range clarity, expressive but not overly intense high frequencies, which, by the way, can be something of a rarity in the planar magnetic headphones market, and accurate and substantial bass response presented by the headphones. Together with the Phonitar, it seems to my ears that the best features of both the headphones and the amplifier are complementary and enhanced when connected together. Now, the Phonitar, being a pro audio capable monitoring system, is at its best powering moderate to high impedance headphones, and this is something important to note. Some modern planar headphones have extremely low impedances, so they can possibly be powered by the headphone jacks of smartphones. And while they will certainly be improved by the Phonitar's capabilities, they won't allow the Phonitar to make them truly slam with authority. Headphones like the LCD series, and specifically the LCD-3 with its 110 ohm impedance, are more in the range of what you want to use with this SPL headphone amplifier. Sennheiser's well-loved HD600 and HD800 headphones, a veritable audiophile staple in terms of dynamic driver headphones, let the Phonitar kick out even more power into their 300 ohms. Or other models like the Beyerdynamic DT 1990 Pro, they're very similar with an impedance of 250 ohms. So there are a lot of headphone options that are available that will work really well with the Phonitar headphone amplifier. It's just important to know the impedance of your headphones and understand that with the Phonitar, as the impedance rises, the power output availability increases. Now, one last note about a software program. Most audiophiles I know use Roon and love Roon just like I do. And if you are considering a HiFi setup just like this, it would really behoove you to dive into the Audeze specific DSP presets inside Roon. Audeze and Roon teamed up to make very subtle EQ adjustments for every single one of their models that they have. And in my time with the combo here, I was drop-jawed to hear another completely substantial jump in audio quality when the LCD-3 specific setting was switched on. The Phonitar, paired with the LCD-3, paired with Roon with the EQ in place, for me is the absolute end-all for sound quality and listening experience. This is a combo that delivers an exquisite musical experience that encourages hours of listening and enjoyment. The soundstage abilities of the two pieces together form a vast landscape for the music to live inside, and the truly high-end presentation is extra inviting. I highly recommend the Audeze LCD-3 headphones and the Phonitar together as a combo, whether it's the Phonitar SE Basic Edition or this XE Edition or the Phonitar X that comes with that awesome preamplifier as well. It's a combo that I think you're not going to want to leave out of your listening rotation for sure. Well, thanks for watching this video about the Audeze LCD-3 and the Phonitar together, and be sure to check out my other video about the SPL Elector preamplifier. From all of us at the Music Room, thanks for watching and happy listening.